Think about your favorite childhood memory right now. Got it? Here's something that might unsettle you. It never happened exactly the way you just remembered it. Not the color, not the words people said, maybe not even the people who were there. Every single time you pull a memory out of storage and look at it, your brain quietly edits it before putting it back. Scientists have proven this in labs, on purpose, with real people who were completely convinced their edited memory were the truth. So if your brain has been secretly rewriting your past this whole time, how much of you is actually built on something that never really happened? And if that's true, whose version of that old argument is the real one? Yours or theirs? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never trust a memory the same way again. Think about your favorite childhood memory right now. Got it? Here's something that might unsettle you. It never happened exactly the way you just remembered it. Not the color, not the words people said, maybe not even the people who were there. Every single time you pull a memory out of storage and look at it, your brain quietly edits it before putting it back. Scientists have proven this in labs, on purpose, with real people who were completely convinced their edited memory were the truth. So if your brain has been secretly rewriting your past this whole time, how much of you is actually built on something that never really happened? And if that's true, whose version of that old argument is the real one? Yours or theirs? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never trust a memory the same way again. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull, and it comes down to one process called memory reconsolidation. Most people imagine memory like a filing cabinet. You experience something, your brain files it away, and whenever you want it, you pull out the exact same folder, untouched, forever. That's not even close to how it works. A memory is closer to a document that gets reopened, and every time you reopen it, it becomes editable again for a short window before it gets saved and closed once more. Neuroscientists discovered that the simple act of remembering something makes that memory temporarily unstable at the biological level. The connections between your neurons that hold that memory literally loosen up, and whatever is happening around you in that moment, your current mood, new information you just heard, someone else's version of the story, can slip into that open file before your brain resaves it as the truth. This is why that road trip argument between the siblings makes total sense. Every time one of them retold the story over the years, their emotional state in that moment got stitched into the memory. If they were anxious or scared later in life, that emotion attached itself to the dad yelling version. If they were feeling nostalgic and safe, the calm and laughing version got reinforced instead. Neither of them is lying. Their brains simply saved over the original file with a slightly different version repeatedly until the new version became the only one that felt true. There's a reason this matters more than you think. Your brain isn't doing this randomly. It's doing it on purpose, in a strange sort of way. Updating memories with new context is actually useful for survival. It lets your brain fold new lessons into old experiences, so you don't have to store every raw detail forever. The cost of that efficiency is accurate. Your memory system was never built to be a perfect recorder. It was built to help you function, adapt, and make decisions quickly. Truth was always secondary to usefulness. And here's a detail that changes everything. The more emotionally intense a memory is, the more times you tend to replay it in your head. Trauma, heartbreak, embarrassment, your proudest achievement, these get replayed obsessively. But replaying is exactly the mechanism that reopens the file and exposes it to editing. So paradoxically, the memories you trust the most, the ones that feel the most vivid and burned in, are statistically the ones that have been rewritten the most time. Let that sink in for a second. That memory you'd swear on your life is 100% accurate. It's probably one of the least accurate memories you have, precisely because you cared about it enough to keep remembering. Here's the part almost nobody talks about, and it's the layer that actually affects your relationships, your career, and your sense of who you are. If memory reconsolidation means your current emotional state edits your past, that means the version of you that exists today has quietly been rewriting your entire life story to match how you feel right now. Depressed people don't just feel sad about the present. Studies on mood and memory show that a low mood biases people toward recalling negative memories more easily and reframing neutral past events as worse than they were. It's not that depressed people have had worse lives. It's that their current brain state is pulling darker versions of old memories to the surface, and each time it happens, it reinforces that darker version a little more. Now flip it. Someone falling in love tends to remember their past relationships, their childhood, even their exes, through a rosier lens than before. Someone going through a bitter breakup will suddenly remember red flags in that same relationship that they swear were always obvious, even if a year earlier they described that same relationship as one of the happiest times of their life. This means your memories are not a fixed record of your past. They are a live mirror of your present. You are not simply recalling who you were. You are constantly reconstructing who you were to make sense of who you are today. And this creates a strange trap. If you believe a certain story about yourself, I've always been the unlucky one, I've never been good enough, people have always let me down, your brain will keep finding old memories that support that story and quietly reshape the ones that don't fit every single time you think about your past. This is exactly how people can grow up in the same household and remember completely different childhoods childhood. Not because one of them is wrong, but because each of them has spent years reconsolidating those years through a different emotional lens. One child felt loved and safe, so their memories drift toward warmth. Another child felt overlooked, so their memories drift toward neglect. Even from the exact same family, the exact same house, the exact same dinner table. It even shows up at work. Two colleagues can sit through the exact same meeting and later describe two different bosses. One remembers a supportive leader who pushed them to grow. The other remembers someone dismissive who never valued their work. Neither is necessarily lying. Each is filtering that same hour of memory through however secure or anxious they felt in their career ever since, reconsolidating it a little differently every time it gets replayed in their head before a performance review or a hard day at the office. And this is where it gets personal. Every grudge you're still holding, every identity you believe about yourself, every "that's just how I've always been." Some percentage of that is not solid fact. It's a memory that has been reopened and resaved so many times, shaped by years of moods and retelling, that it now feels like unquestionable truth. The story you tell about your own life might be less of a history and more of a rough draft you've been unconsciously editing for years. So if your brain is going to keep rewriting your memories no matter what, the real question is, can you rewrite them on purpose in a healthier direction? The answer is yes, and it starts with a simple shift. The next time a painful memory resurfaces, an old failure, an old argument, an old embarrassment, pause before you replay it in the same emotional tone you always do. Ask yourself one question. Am I remembering what actually happened? Or am I remembering how I currently feel about myself? That single pause interrupts the automatic reconsolidation loop and gives you a chance to reopen that memory file more consciously instead of letting your current mood silently rewrite it again. Second, be careful which memories you replay the most. Since repetition is literally the mechanism that reshapes memory, obsessively replaying your worst moments doesn't just feel bad, it biologically deepens and distorts them further. This doesn't mean ignoring real problems or pretending pain didn't happen. It means noticing when you're stuck in a loop that isn't helping you understand anything new, only reinforcing an old wound. Third, when you're in a good emotional state, calm, grateful, secure, that's actually a great time to gently revisit an old painful memory. Therapists use a version of this idea in real treatment. Reprocessing a difficult memory while feeling safe and supported can genuinely soften how that memory is stored going forward. Your brain doesn't just take moods away from good memory. It can also lend a calmer mood to a hard one if you let it. And finally, extend this same compassion to the people you disagree with about the past. The sibling who remembers the road trip differently, the family member who insists your childhood happened another way, the friend who swears the fight went completely differently than you remember. They are probably not lying to you. Their brain has been quietly reconsolidating a different version, just like yours has, shaped by their own moods on the dozens of days they replayed it. Understanding that alone can end arguments that have lasted years, because the goal stops being prove I'm right and starts being figure out which parts each of us has quietly rewritten. Your memories were never meant to be a perfect archive. They were built to help you survive, adapt, and grow, updated in real time by whoever you are becoming. So the real question isn't whether your brain has been rewriting your past. It clearly has, and it clearly will keep doing it. The real question is whether you'll keep letting it happen on autopilot, or whether you'll finally start steering which version of your story gets saved next. If a memory you were sure about just got a little shaky while watching this, tell me about it in the comments. I guarantee you're not the only one. And if this changed the way you'll think about your next argument over what actually happened, share it with the person you keep disagreeing with. Let's see whose memory changes first.